getting to that playoff spot. This is an important win for them. Astralis is a team that they should beat. They're on a 7-game losing streak right now, though, Foxy. And as the analyst desk was saying, in the lead up, they're a very momentum-driven team. So they need to turn it around, and they need to turn it around right now. Otherwise, we could be looking at the reverse miracle run.
And this is the best chance to do it. As you say, like, Astralis as a team, you know, they're sitting 3-10 at the bottom of the 3-11, excuse me, at the bottom of the standings. And you really, really can't afford to drop a game like this if you are Schalke. Take a look, see here. Look at them. They were in a playoff spot pretty much the entirety of the spring split, and now all the way down there at 5-9. They've been struggling big time. They have to turn it around in this game, but I also think, you know, Schalke as a team, I think they're confident enough to make it happen. We had an interview with Dylan Falco yesterday where we talked about how the team's not worried in the slightest. I don't know how, you know, that's some next level confidence right there when you're on a 7-game lose streak. But against the Astralis, I think that kind of confidence can really pull forward, and hopefully for them, they can end this massive lose streak.
Aggressive play from Broken Blade here, just trying to get as much pressure down. This is a matchup that can be quite difficult for Cyan, I believe. The Fiora just very good, especially with the percentage health shred that she's got in her kit. And a lot of, I think, I guess, focus being given to Broken Blade. You know, a lot of people have complimented his laning phase. They say he's a strong laner in general. And this is kind of a champion that will allow him to express that. I think this is a big mantle for Broken Blade to have in a very important game for Schalke.
Absolutely, and I'm really happy to see Schalke draft a more carry-focused top laner for Broken Blade. There's a really interesting statistic that I dug up regarding Broken Blade and Schalke's success. When Schalke lose games, Broken Blade has a 20% damage share, and when Schalke win games, Broken Blade has almost a 30% damage share. Now, big numbers like that don't necessarily mean that, you know, you're a better top laner. It just really goes to show that when Schalke wins, it's often through Broken Blade. You know, he is the type of champion, the type of player who wants to pick these type of champions, I should say. And just as comparison, like Wonder, when he wins his games on G2, he's got like 22% damage share. Odoamne is like 23% when he wins with Rogue. So it's not like he's better than any of those guys when he wins. It's just like, that's the style that Schalke play, you know? And I think having the Fiora locked in here against the Sion, as you say, is a hard matchup for Sion until he builds, you know, some armor, gets that Bramble Vest going as well. I really do think, you know, they're putting a lot of the carry threat here onto Broken Blade in that split push, and it has worked out previously for Schalke, so we'll have to see whether or not they can make that work as this game goes on.
Well, you mentioned the split push there, because I think that's kind of interesting to touch on. I always, in my mind, envision how Fiora influences win conditions for a composition, and the kind of the way that I look at it is that she's very much a one-trick pony. I know that's a bit ironic now that we're looking at the pony right now, but she's very much a one-trick pony in terms of what win conditions she can activate. She's not particularly useful in team fights, although she definitely can have an influence. She is primarily that split push driver.
Almost getting on stolen away by Zanzara. That's a double crab here, by the way. That's always a nice start there for the Hecarim, and terrible start if you're playing Olaf, who's a very good early game champion. But absolutely, yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Like, I think this is one of the reasons you don't see Fiora too much in the meta, because she is very much like a one-trick pony, as you say. And when you're playing a champion that has kind of like one main strength and then really not much else, it definitely pigeonholes you into a certain style of play. And that is something, you know, that is a downside of Fiora. But in this particular draft, I think versus the Sion, like the Sion was blind picked, right? You know you're going against this tank that's not going to be able to press you too much. And so I do think she will have a relatively free lane. You can even see from her choice of runes here as well on that Conqueror. She wants to be able to bring this Sion down, and it's up to the Sion to just hold the fort in that top lane or in the side lane whenever it gets to that point. And then, you know, roam around with his ultimate, maybe get a TP flank, that kind of thing. So Fiora definitely going to have that advantage in the 1v1, and when she does, it's a pretty big advantage.
And you actually mentioned something a minute ago that I do want to kind of loop back to, because you mentioned that Zanzara got double scuttled. And if you remember yesterday when he was playing Olaf, he got double scuttled. That's not something that you often like to see as your jungler in the early game. What is it about? I mean, we've got a little bit of an engage here from Broken Blade. Doesn't look like it's going to amount to much. But why is it that Zanzara is getting double scuttled, especially on Olaf? Is it just the kind of the unique pathing that his enemies are taking against him, or do you just think that's something that Zanzara is looking to avoid early fighting?
Speaking of early fighting, mind you, I'll answer that question when we know what's going to happen here in the top lane. Julius is ghosting in.
Yeah, he's ghosting in. They knew that he was there. Zanzara was on top of a ward as he jumped straight into the fray. Locks Zanzara up. There's a flash immediately on him. They are diving in onto Julius. They should be able to pick up the kill first. Blood goes over to Zanzara, and now Broken Blade is forced to flash away. This is an absolute disaster for Schalke. That was not a good get gank.
Oh, Excadra is a terrible day to have eyes. What did I just see? You saw it the whole time. Zanzara walked through a wall. Oh my goodness, Promising's going to bring him down as well. No, this is a terrible start here for Schalke. I am just at a loss for words. I really am from that first play. Abadage is going to salvage something out of this, though, right here. They are going to pick up that kill onto Magi Felix.
It's not over, mate. It's not over. They're still going for a teleport. Limit is coming up with Julius. Broken Blade is there. Does not have level 6, so can't really burst them down. There are flashes not available right now as White Knight gets taken very, very low. Julius will pick up the kill, and now Zanzara desperately throwing out those axes to chase Broken Blade down. Won't be the case, though. They will just back off. At least they trade back here, and look at that juicy wave that Broken Blade has to soak up under tower.
That's a great point. That juicy wave is really, really crucial here. If Broken Blade had missed that, that would have been just a huge BG right there, and he would not have been happy in the slightest. I don't even know where to begin when we're talking about that play right there, because on it, like legit, Zanzara walked across a ward. Schalke took that play thinking they had the advantage. Like, they 100% knew what that play was going to entail. They took it and still fell flat on their face. That is a travesty right there. But also, you know, they do come out on top at the end, you know, salvaging some things. 2 for 2 in the end. Look at that, he's sitting on a ward. I honestly think, though, legit, I think the problem here is your focus. Look at Broken Blade compared to Gilius here. Gilius goes in, he focuses Zanzara. But like what? They're completely separate. It's like they're fighting on 2 fronts here, and there's the communication or the lack thereof is just crazy in that play, and really is the downfall for Schalke. A great roam here from Promiscu as well as Limit, you know, supports joining this fight, and I think Magic Felix has disrespected that, and you know, face checks at the worst possible time. He's going to go down as well, and as you mentioned, you know, the Broken Blade TP. Okay, we're going to get some T-Tours here. Ooh, yes, the misery. We love to see a little bit of misery, don't we?
Wait, we're still going. This fight was so long. We're still in the replay.
It's madness. At least they bring down White Knight here with that TV from Broken Blade. So, you know, like I say, salvaging some things at the end of that. 2 for 2 at the end of the day. But my goodness, this is just an absolute fiesta. Hey, is that Dracos? What a ledge? Maybe that's not live. Maybe that's just our feed. I don't know. But hello, how you doing?
We can see you, Dracos. I don't know if the stream can, but we can see you. Okay, it looks like we are back into game here. And we're going to go back down to the bot lane. I mean, there has been
a kill.
We did miss a kill. Who picked up the kill there? It was Gilius. Gilius picked up the kill. Yeah.
So Gilius now 2-1 and 0. Zanzara falling down right there. Sorry, I never really got to answer your question about the Skull Crabs, but I feel like we passed that moment as Limit is now flashing in. Promiscu with the disengage. That is why you pick the Alistair into the rail, because he's got such good disengage. Rail wants to jump in, she wants to go forward. Alistair's having none of that. Just a pulverize there, and that is Limit's flash being blown for not really anything.
Yeah, I mean, Neon seems to have got a decent chunk of solo experience here. He is obviously level 7, a little bit further on. Let's have a look. We're going to get a replay of that kill. It was just on the dragon, it looks like.
Okay, so we had the dragon going down. So who got that? All right, Astralis get the dragon at least. You know, I think that's worth it, losing someone for the dragon. I definitely think that's a decent-ish trade. I don't think either team will be too upset about that one, because we're tuning into top lane. That's a lot of damage coming through from Broken Blade. But as I mentioned, you know, that Bramble Vest is really quite big. It's quite powerful against the Fiora because she hurts herself. When she bops you, even when she lunges, she hurts herself. And Fiora has so much healing in her kit. When she hits a vital, when she pops her ulti, so much healing. Plus her itemization, she also gets a butt ton. Like, the Bramble Vest is just such high value. And I think, honestly, White Knight, if he plays it smart, if he can get to that, like, mythic Sunfire item, whether he decides to go for the Frozen Fist, or we've even seen a lot of Turbo Chem tanks on champions that otherwise wouldn't buy that item. I think he's going to be, he'll be okay-ish. You know, I think that's just his goal for right now.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that top lane develops. It's definitely one of the talking points of this game. You know, you don't see a Fiora every often. So, you know, we talked about it the last time we saw it was quite a number of years ago in the LEC. So it's one of those picks that definitely sparks a bit of conversation. But again, let's see how that goes on throughout the game. let's take stock of where we are now. We're coming into 10 minutes. First Dragon has gone the way of Astralis. We've just given the first Rift Herald over to SHALKE. What are these teams going to be looking to do over the next few minutes? Like, which team needs to accelerate? Which team is happy just chilling? Or, you know, do you think both teams are kind of happy in that scenario as well? What do we think these teams are doing in terms of playing towards the win conditions of their compositions?
I honestly think both teams are pretty happy chilling out in this game. Like, you got a very, very standard front-to-back team fight team comp here for this from the side of Astralis. You know, it's definitely not going to hurt in any way, shape, or form if you can get that Kai'Sa having some more items. Same for the Orianna in the mid lane. And to be honest, similarly for SHALKE, like whenever you look at Nazir, you look at Fiora, Xayah as well. Like, these are champions that can scale pretty hard. As Zanzara's not going to walk forward into Gilius. Nothing happening, just sweeping out some vision, going to take away that pink ward right there. So to be honest, I don't expect a huge amount to be happening in this lane phase, in this early game, and I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, oh, there's the engage though.
It's engaged straight onto Neon. Force use the Featherstorm will bounce away, and that is a really nice disengage from Limit. He absolutely keeps Neon alive and breathing off the back of that 2v2.
Gilius might be a little bit, or maybe Zanzara might be a little bit here. He's going to have to flash over the wall, losing his summoner. A little bit over-aggressive. I do like that engage, though, in the bot side from Promiscu on the Alistar. You know what? We're not even done. It's just fighting left, right, and center. It's all happening. There's a shockwave, just chunking Abadage out. I think, you know, going to look to perhaps put some vision in this top side. Zanzara has to be a little bit careful on these chickens, though.
Yeah, he doesn't have his flash available. Obviously, he will have that ultimate if he needs it to get out of any hard CC. But he is going to lose his chickens to Limit and Gilius, the chicken stealers. They're coming through and they're going to take him.
The thieves. Not going to be too happy about that one, but it's
Did you
okay.
know,
It's not
we're both English, and you definitely used the correct word. I don't even think stealers is a word. I'm not even. I don't
Isn't Chicken Stealers some kind of football team? I don't know. Might need a citation.
Isn't that the
one.
Pittsburgh Steelers?
No, I'm not so sure, honestly. It might, I don't know. Maybe we're both right. Who knows? Either way, getting back into some Lega Legends action right here. It's, you know, as soon as I mentioned we wouldn't see too much action, of course, we then saw a ton of action. But I just wanted, you know, to really highlight Xayah as a champion and her ability to disengage. She got flashed on top of by an Alistar, she got comboed down, but she was still able to just dip, you know, and not a lot of AD carries would be able to do that in that situation, as Broken Blade now has TP'd into the top lane. Oh, he's popped the ult.
He's popping the ult here. Going for the Vitals, doesn't quite get them. I think that was a really nice disengage with the Cyan ultimate to prevent him from dashing over and picking up the last Vital there. Obviously, later on today, our match of the week, Rogue versus Mad, Game 5. You don't want to miss it again. Vedius talked a lot about the clash in styles that those two teams will bring, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how both of them play against each other.
Absolutely, you know, Rogue has definitely been, honestly, for a good few years, outside of their first season, their first split, I think Rogue's been one of the premier teams here in the LEC, and they definitely deserve a lot of respect. As the second dragon now is spawning, Astralis did take the first one. They look to be in position for this one as well. It looks as though SHALKE may be just going to trade this one for mid, but nope. No. Tell a lie. Astralis haven't even started it up. Gilius face checking. He's caught.
Oh yeah, we'll use the Onslaught of Shadows to get away from the Shockwave. Trying to use that Rift Herald to gain a bit of mid-prio, I guess, to threaten an attempt to get onto this Drake. But without Onslaught of Shadows, Gilius might be in a slightly rougher situation. However, Neon and Limit are coming through. They're going to start to gain that vision control. They've brute forced their way onto this dragon. We could have a bit of a showdown here.
Here comes Broken Blade as well. Both top laners on their way in. White Knight doesn't have his ulti, so he's going to be pretty slow into this one, and his usefulness in a team fight will be a little bit hindered. SHALKE are going to start this one up. We'll see if Astralis can do anything about it.
Yeah, SHALKE. That's Jessica using the ultimate already now. Abadage uses the Emperor's Divide, trying to shove everybody into Broken Blade, who picks up the first kill of this fight. And suddenly, Astralis HP bars are dropping. I have no idea how this went so badly wrong for them, but SHALKE have come on top in this really important engager on the second Drake.
Fake Adage happened. That's how it went so bad for Astralis. He saw his window in a choke point where that Shurima shuffle gets so much value, where it just covers the entirety of that little gap there when you're walking through the jungle to the river, completely catching Astralis off guard. Magic Felix and White Knight both falling in that situation. Just perfect play there from Abadage. Wins his team the team fight, and they're going to pick up a dragon as well for their spoils.
The analyst desk set it up so perfectly. It's Abadage that needs to step up in this game to give SHALKE their mojo back. You know, SHALKE needs to win this game They need to win this game to put themselves in a strong contention point for those playoff spots. And as well, you know, on the back of that, they're not the only ones that need to win. That 0.25% of remaining scenarios where Astralis make it to playoffs, it's a small chance. That turns to 0 if Astralis lose here. If Astralis lose to Schalke, they have a 0% chance of making it to playoffs. So they absolutely need this win too, as now Limit face checks into Zanzara. Will try to get away with the dismount. Has got Promiscu backing him up now as Zanzara is desperate for the kill. The shockwave comes through and he will pick it up. Is that enough to give Astralis the lead on this second Rift Herald?
I think it might be. We're going to get an engage here as well from the top side.
Yeah, Broken Blade. Yeah, he riposts it. He riposts it. He gets out of it quite nicely.
Yeah, that matchup is definitely difficult for Sam. So we're going to see this this dragon fight again. Just keep your eyes on the Azir, the Pigeon Master himself. Look at that. Slides forward, flashes in. That's just like, what can you do? Yeah, Sion literally cannot move. He gets stuck. He gets stuck between the units of the streamer soldiers and the wall. Quite literally, there is no counterplay to this.
I've legit never seen that.
Cannot move.
I've legit not seen that before. That is big brain if he intended it, but very lucky if he didn't as well. That was a nice play from Abadage, and he's stepping up on this Azir, you know, a very strong pick in the current meta as well. I think obviously now we are heading towards the, you know, the sort of 16-minute, coming toward 20-minute mark as well. Gold lead is not massively in favor. In fact, it's not even in favor of Schalke. The gold lead actually sits in favor of Astralis. I think that will change.
I mean, you're not wrong. It is not massively in favor of Schalke because they're behind. Stick to your guns, mate. That was the truth.
It technically was the truth. It does look like Schalke have picked up that minor gold lead now, as White Knight does put a bit of damage down to Neon, but he has got the support of both Julius and Limit in the side there. I mean, neither team really taking any major advantages. It does really kind of feel like Schalke are in the driving seat right now. Promiscu obviously getting picked off, but it does kind of feel like Schalke are in the driving seat right now. What do they now need to do to kind of accelerate this? What do they now need to do to sort of really solidify a strong mid-game advantage and play towards the win conditions of their comp?
So you saw exactly what they were trying to do right there with the 1-3-1. You know, they move members into the bot side of the map, they sweep out the vision, they sort that out. Oh, Broken Blade's gonna, yeah, here comes the Sion as well. He's in trouble, we may have to hold his thought.
He might get caught out. As user Robotics, he's going to flash onto Magi Felix, has procced the ultimate as well, but I think he's caught out. Magi Felix will pick up the kill nice and easy, and White Knight making moves on the map.
Okay, but what does Schalke get out of this? This is the important thing. If your split pusher dies because the opponent team dedicates more members to that lane, you have to get something somewhere else, and I don't really think Schalke are going to be too happy with that cross-map play, but we are going to get a TP. Yo, Astralis want more.
I mean, they are keen to make the engagements happen. Decimate will not land, and Schalke will back off. Now, there aren't any major neutral objectives for Astralis to go for with that teleport. Maybe it was to try and look for a catch, but they're going to drop the Rift Herald in this bot side of the map, and I'm guessing they're going to try and brute force their way through to this tier 1.
Yeah, you just want to clear out these tier 1s away from the map here. You know, just pick up the gold that's sitting there, allow yourself to push it out as well. I think so. So this is something that's interesting with this use of Rift Herald, and it's a topic I'd like to explore a little bit, and I also don't have 100% the answer to the question I'm about to pose. But normally, Rift Herald is better used to break down tier 1 mid, especially against control mages or mages that can like wave clear really well, like the Azir. But I do think there's actually extra value in breaking down a tier 1 in one of the side lanes with Herald, because it means when you bounce waves, when you push waves out against the Fiora, they're going to push further away from your base, so that when she then gets back into the lane to continue her split push, she's going to be starting from further away, right? So it buys you a little bit more time before you really start feeling the heat on the Fiora split push. So maybe that's something they bear in mind. Maybe I'm just talking absolute rubbish, but I think that is something, you know, that is a potential benefit there for Schalke breaking down that tier 1 bot.
So we're actually starting to see some of the... Oh, wait a second. Going to catch Neon potentially as Zanzara dives in. Featherstorm is there. Zanzara pops the ultimate. The rank. Oh, my word. He gets deleted by Neon. That was a lot of damage. Lots of feathers. And Zanzara got more than just a little bit tickled.
He got way more than just a little bit tickled. He exploded right there. 5 seconds until this dragon spawns, but Hecarim's in trouble now as well. Gilius!
He's down. Jungler for jungler. It will be a shutdown going over to Jeskler. The teleport coming through as well. It is White Knight A little bit more of a team fight presence than the Fiora as well. It is a 4 versus 4. However, the Shockwave is down, and that is a huge team fight tool Magi Felix will not have access to for around the next minute or so. And this third dragon has spawned. I'm not entirely sure it's worth losing your life or the game over for just the second dragon on either team, but it does look like Astralis are confident enough to just straight up start this.
So I was thinking when both teams traded players here, like, it's a 4v4, who has the advantage? And I was kind of going back and forth about it in my head, but I think with Astralis, the fact that they still had the core components of their team fight, were only losing the Olaf, but still having like loads of their frontline protection and DPS, I think Astralis had the advantage there, and that's why, you know, Schalke are just going to back away from that one, as we're going to see how this all started. Just, my goodness, so much damage. When you're Ragnaroking and rolling, you take extra damage, by the way, so Olaf is even more squishy, disrespecting Neon's damage there, but it's a bit unfortunate, honestly, for the side of Schalke that Ilias gets caught out in this situation as well, because, you know, it's a 4v5 now, you have this dragon, like, you really should be able to pick that one up. And, ooh, hello, White Knight's going in on Neon.
He is going to force the flash out of him. The Decimate will not land, but they are going to dive straight in. Zanzara wants revenge, baby! And he picks it up under tower with White Knight. Nobody kills Zanzara twice, although he has actually died twice, so...
More than twice. Nah, legit, that's it, revenge though. He wanted revenge and he got it right there. Neon able to stay very safe in this game, considering, honestly, Astralis has focused him pretty hard, I'd say, this game. But that was his first death, you know. Zyra as a champion, very good at staying alive. Also, something that's really interesting to know about his item build here is he doesn't have a mythic yet. You know, he's got 2 items and no mythic. Sometimes we see this out of certain champions that like to build, you know, like this Fiora here, for example, wants that Ravenous Hydra. We see it fairly often with mages buying Zhonya's. But on AD carry, it's quite uncommon to have your mythic delayed this much, especially when mythic items are pretty strong right now on ADCs, like with the Gale Force, for example. So I think that is quite interesting, you know, and I do think, you know, once Neon reaches that 3 items, it's going to give a whole nother definition to the 3-item power spike, because that 3rd item will be the mythic.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's Gale Force for him as well. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned items because we have got quite a few of them finished up now. A lot of mythics across the board for Astralis, and as you said, a couple of mythics missing from Schalke, but obviously, you know, Broken Blade prioritizing Ravenous Hydra here, Essence Reaver as well for Neon. So some delay on the mythics for those guys. Astralis, I think, you know, maybe that plays into their favor for the time being. They have, I think, got a better teamfight comp just through the very nature of not having the Fiora. So, you know, is this an area of the game where maybe they could try and force something, force these 5v5 fights, try to not get caught up with the Fiora in the side lanes?
I think that's a good idea, honestly. Like, the thing is, like, you lose the split push, and any time that you're trying to break a split push, it all comes down to having engage. And the Astralis definitely don't lack engage. You know, you've got the Olaf who can run at you. You've got the San who just needs no explanation for why he's got to engage. Plus the Alistair, you know, you've even got like engage enhancers from the side of the Orianna. So I do think Astralis will be looking to go for something. And they can even tower dive if they see people out of position, because, I mean, Alistair with his Unbreakable Will, he's not going to feel tower shots. Sion being Sion, he probably won't either. So definitely, you know, I think Astralis can be fairly liberal with their attempts to engage this game, but, you know, Schalke just have to be kind of careful and be aware of that.
Obviously, we have more neutral objectives coming up on the map. Baron is already there. Dragon is spawning. That would be Soul Point for Astralis. If they were to take this, it's their 3rd dragon. The one following that would be the Soul. This feels like something that Schalke are going to want to try and contest. I don't know if they've had enough like side lane pressure right now to kind of commit Fiora to a full split push strategy, but maybe they say, okay, we could trade the 3rd dragon. Maybe Fiora picks up and starts threatening inhibitor turrets at that point. Is that something that, you know, think Schalke should be thinking about? Because obviously when you have a Fiora, as we've said, her teamfight efficacy is not quite as strong as Sion, so you have to find a way to utilize that split push win condition. But eventually, these neutral objectives are going to start hurting if you're just giving them up all the time by not team fighting.
Yeah, I think this is, for me, it all comes down to where. You know what, I'm going to hold this Soul. Zanzara, be careful, mate. You've been burned by this once. You know, Neon has damage.
He's really holding on to his ultimate right now. Right at the end, pops it through the Magnet Storm. Here comes the engage as Jessica gets out with the Gale Force. Dives away. Zanzara low. White Knight tanking. Somehow, Astralis escape. But it is alive. I know, they're all alive. But this is a problem. It's a problem, Foxy, because Dragon is spawning and Baron is there, and they've lost priority on that area of the map.
Even in the picture-in-picture, you see that Magic Felix survived on a sliver of HP. That's crazy. Honestly, a little bit unlucky there for Schalke to not actually pick up a kill on that front. But honestly, again, Astralis started that. Zanzara was the one walking forward. We have mentioned, this guy has not won a game if he hasn't been playing Hecarim or Skarner. These champions are a lot tankier. You can walk forward a little bit. You have a bit more liberty to do that. Olaf, slight adaptation needed. He's very good at going in, but when he has to start running away, it's not so easy for him. As we're going to see, we're going to play the NA around, baby. Here we go. 5v5, including the split push Fioras joining this party.
You can see White Knight hanging around on the side, maybe looking for a chance to rush into the team fight and make his presence felt. He's currently not seen on the map, although the Decimate, I think, graphic effect did come through the wall there. He's going to try and zone away as Zanzara has started up this Drake. Schalke look like they want the fight right now, Foxy.
Yeah, they're going to go for it right here. Astralis got it pretty low here. Gilis is going to have to try and... They're not even going to bother. That is surprising to me. Nothing going there at all. Schalke is going to give that one up, but I think the worst thing about it is they're not going to get anything else out of it. They didn't even have the mid lane push. We'll see, though. They might be looking for this fight. Schalke moving forward. Limit pushing up. I think it's going to work, mate. They're just going to get out.
Zanzara is just hanging around on the side here. He's just trying to threaten Gilius. Very awkwardly cut off by himself. That is a dangerous position to be in, I think, versus an Azir. But it looks like Schalke are comfortable to back off and head into the red side jungle, start stealing away the chickens and the red buff this time, and move their way through back to their side of the map.
I do... Ooh, I'm racking my brain a little bit here to think about, you know what, never mind, because White Knight, he sees his window, he's jumping in.
And then the raid boss comes straight in from Astralis, gets taken low. Oh, it's a big engage onto Limit, and they pick him off. Astralis, 0.25% of remaining scenarios, and that's a big enough chance for them.
They're looking good right now, and this should be the Baron as well. Broken Blade already used his TP to join that dragon fight where Schalke weren't able to pick it up. He doesn't have TP up. He's split pushing in the bot. Schalke, though, they're not going to give away this Baron for free.
They're not. They're going to disengage straight onto Gilius now as well. He's going to get taken low, and now Abadage will be forced to use the Emperor's Divide. In the meantime, Broken Blade has got the inhibitor turret and is working on the inhibitor. Neon will pick up Magi Felix, but it is a team fight win overall for Astralis. Abadage running interruption. They'll trade inhibitor for a team fight loss.
Nice. Okay, Schalke. It was looking kind of rough for you guys there the past kind of 2-3 minutes. Wasn't 100% convinced by their map play, but I think that one, honestly, at the end of the day, it comes out in Schalke's favor. Being able to pick up a tower and inhibitor as well, you do not lose the Baron, and the fight was only a 2-for-1 at the end of the day as well. Now, crucially here, this makes any future Baron plays that much easier for Schalke, because that bot lane inhib being down means bot lane is going to perma push towards Astralis' base, and with that they're going to have to deal with bot lane pushing. They're going to have to catch those minions, defend their base, and bot lane's really far away from Baron, so it gives you a lot of time. Having said that, though, Astralis, they're looking for it. They're TPing into the Baron. Ooh, it's spooky, Keenan.
It's really spooky because they don't have their entire team there. Zanzara was desperate to try and claim something back to remedy that inhibitor loss on the bot side of the map by just taking that objective away. Oh wait, here we have the engage straight promised you onto Gilius. Gilius actually goes in. Onslaught of Shadows is there as Broken Blade's looking for the engage. The Magnet Storm is huge, and now Broken Blade is there. It's not a good enough shockwave when the backline is still alive for Schalke right now. Neon kiting backwards. Abadage untouched. He goes in straight onto Promiscue. Abadage versus the world. A double kill for the guy in the backline. It is a 2 versus 2 overall, though, as that is a big return for Magi Felix. He gets a double at the end of it as well, finally getting his own back in the mid lane, and Gilius is forced to run, sprints his way into his own jungle.
That was so back and forth. I thought at first it was easy for Astralis, and I thought it was easy for Schalke, and Astralis come out on top of that fight. We're going to see the engage here, the Hex Splash from Promiscue, but perfect re-engage from both the Hecarim and the Rel. Look at this. I think this is where Schalke wins the fight, and just watch Abadage. Watch him. He's free hitting here, and because Astralis is quite low range, look how much damage he's out to put out, just as Astralis are trying to get in. Astralis can't even do anything there, and he's just free hitting them. But I think that's just a little bit too much, you know, a teeny weeny bit too much, separated from his team. Good focus from Astralis, recognizing that he is vulnerable in that situation. Abadage going to go down, and with that, Oh my goodness, man. I'm feeling a little bit out of breath, but Astralis are going to win that fight.
Me too, mate. Honestly, I really didn't think it was going to go Astralis' way, but Jeskla and Magi Felix managed to remain untouched that entire team fight. They were still going, and it really didn't take much HP damage at all. And actually, if you look at Jeskla, he's 6-0-1. In the games that Astralis has won, he was 12-0 and 6-1. So in the games that Astralis have actually won, it's been Jeskla that's really been popping off, just in terms of kills and potentially carry potential. This is a platform that Astralis likes to play from, and at 6-0-1 right now, he is a very, very strong AD carry.
I 100% agree with you. When Astralis win, Jeskla is often the one piloting that. And to be honest, coming out of yesterday's game, I do think, you know, Promiscu and Jeskla didn't have a stellar game yesterday, and seeing them today, I think this has been a real switch of things up. You know, like they've done so good today. Promiscu with his engages as he's looking for potentially another one. Jeskla's been that solid rock in the backside as well. We're going to get a fight here at Scoundrel. I can smell it. Both teams want to contest this. This would be soul for Astralis.
It would be so for Astralis, and they are desperate to make it happen. Schalke know they need to prevent this from happening as well, and they are just looking for the engage. Gile is now onto the Dragon. They're going to immediately get Promiscu down. He gets taken low. The onslaught of shadows onto the backline. Abadage finds one. He's found two. He's got a double kill already. He's going for the triple, but it's going to be Broken Blade that picks it up at the end. Neon untouched as well, and now Schalke are running away with the fight. They prevent the soul. They get the win, and they have inhibitor minions knocking on the base.
Well, this could be Baron as well. I'd imagine that's where Schalke are going to turn their sights right here. That was a very eerily similar fight to the one we just saw, but this time Schalke were able to pull it out. Abadage, heroic play right there to knock Jeskla out of position. And once he's out of position, yeah, we were just saying it, man. Jeskla was the man. He was the one that was bringing out the deeps. He was the one. He was that solid carry. And once you've dealt with him, then there's not too much to worry about anymore for the side of Schalke. So they win that team fight, pick up Dragon, as you say, denying Soul, pick up the Baron too. All in all, Schalke are going to be very happy with that. Taking a look at this team fight once more. Promiscu doesn't get a great engage. Gilius is going to jump all the way in, but really, it's Abadage. Keep your eyes on Abadage. Watch him. He's bopping, he's bopping, he's bopping, he's bopping, and then he's going to do a cheeky little slide forward into the Sharima Shuffle, and Jeskla, mate. That just signs his death.
And unfortunately, Magi was zoned out by that too. Magi Zonya'd on the edge of the team fight and was zoned out, and they're the two major damage sources. Like, once they're gone, the damage is kind of done so, right? Oh my word.
Listen, mate. Okay, Abadage, you need to calm down. Look, that not only are you dealing that much damage, but the utility of that ulti that he, you know, to displace people and zone Magi Felix, like, oh my goodness, you know, Azir when played well is just disgusting, and Abadage most certainly is playing this game well.
Baron power play has started here for Schalke. They really do have a good few avenues to abuse, and obviously when you have the Baron, that split push does become much more threatening as well. You can really quite easily push that through two lanes, potentially more, depending on how you want to play it. But Schalke have that open lane where they want to go for the inhibitor. They're going to push it down as a unit.
You see that as well, how Schalke was standing still on this minion wave. They didn't want to kill the enemy minions here because they wanted to stack this wave. They want this wave here, this small wave, to build up with the other wave that's now coming in. And look at this. Now they've got a big minion wave to work with to try and take down this inhibitor.
Just going to let the super minions, or the Baron siege minions rather, do their job. And they're going to zone out with Gilius in the front line right now. Happy to just play it safe, let Broken Blade push this side lane turret as well. Well, the mid lane. It feels like a side lane, but it's the mid lane. And they are going...
Yeah, there it is. This is it. This is the split push here. It's not quite as sexy as split pushes, you know, tend to be sometimes when it comes to a Fiora, but it's all you need. No one can hold Broken Blade, and it's going to lose everything as Schalke here.
They go for the engage. That's the Shockwave missing. I was about to really go in for a big engage there, Foxy, but...
They baited you, mate. It's not happening right here. But this is fine. You know, that's fine by Schalke. They're playing it by the book. They're playing it slow because they don't need to go for these engages. They have Baron. They have the ability here to just push down these waves. And now, you know, Broken Blade, there's only one lane to go, but you still don't need to group up with your team because you can start threatening Nexus towers if it really gets to it. So Schalke are going to be quite content with this push here. They're going to go for those resets most likely, buy up. I'm really curious to see if Neon's ever going to get a mythic item this game, because his third item was Infinity Edge, not his mythic. Maybe we'll get one before the end of the game. I can't imagine he's saving it for the 5th item, but maybe he is. I don't know. We'll see.
This is, we are getting towards the later stages of the game here. This is the point of the game where things like the Orianna, the Kai'Sa, you know, especially things like the Fiora and the Azir sound, it starts to really come online. And I think Schalke have taken control of this game massively so. And I think they've actually been able to effectively utilize the split push Fiora as well as bring her into the team fights, Foxy.
Absolutely, and this is it. As this game goes on, I mentioned earlier on that no one's really going to be able to deal with Fiora. ASTRALIS didn't have an answer to it, and especially now that Schalke have gotten a fairly significant lead, they are 5,000 gold ahead. I mean, that's just been exacerbated. I know, yeah, this Broken Blade, this is just how Schalke wins, legit. You know, if Schalke wins, Broken Blade has a huge damage share. I mentioned it before in the game as well. And look, they put him on a carry, and Schalke are winning this game, and I've been really impressed with the way they've been able to utilize this Fiora pick.
Zara is already low HP, being forced back into his base for the time being. And they are just, as you said, they're 1-3-1ing right now. Abadage is threatening the bot lane. Broken Blade just constantly threatening the only lane that has the inhibitor turret left standing. Schalke are slowly trying to turn the knife on this game, and Promiscue's desperate for the engage onto Limit. They want to make something happen, and they do. They go in straight onto Neon. That is the Featherstorm already used. He flashes across the wall. Julius finds the fight. Limit is still alive in the backline, and here comes Broken Blade for the time being. Where is the boy Faker Dage? There he is! He picks up the first kill of the fight. He goes for the second as Neon gets one too, and White Knight and Promiscue are forced back through mid lane, but they don't care about the Scion. They care about the game. 0-7 power spike activated for Schalke. They are going to push down the Nexus turrets. Their playoff dreams are alive, and with that, they're going to consign Astralis to dust. It is a huge win for Schalke when they needed it the most.
It looks a little bit shaky to begin with there for Schalke, but they are able to pull out the victory. And as you quite rightly say, if they are looking to make playoffs, this was a must-win game. Honestly,